Ambassador Jim Gilmore, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Sam, for the opportunity to talk to your viewers.
Topic number one, you've been an American ambassador overseas in Vienna with the OSCE, Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. Have I got that right?
That's right, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, OSCE.
Can you explain what it is, what it does, its purpose, so the average citizen can know a bit more about it? Because many of us, frankly, probably never heard of it.
Nor had I when I was approached and about going and being United States ambassador. Nobody really knows about it. Think of it like the United Nations, except that it's centered in Vienna, Austria. It's focused primarily on security, but also on the presentation and promotion of Western values. And it's a 57 country organization. Each of those countries submits a real ambassador. I was a United States ambassador, certified appointed by President Trump and confirmed by the United States Senate. And Roxanne and I moved to Vienna and moved into an embassy building there and also an embassy residence. I had a staff. Many of the ambassadors deal primarily with visas and business issues. The ambassador to the OSCE is dealing with geopolitics all the time. So this organization has, as part of its membership, all of Eastern and Western Europe, the Scandinavian countries, the Balkan countries. It has some extensions, but primarily also I want to focus on the fact that not only is Eastern Europe in, but so is Ukraine and so is Russia, all members of the OSCE. It meets once a week in the Hofburg Palace in downtown Vienna, where all 57 ambassadors come together and make statements as necessary on behalf of their countries. Many of the smaller countries did not participate in that every week, but usually the Ukrainians, the Americans, and the Russians, the British, the French, the Germans did. We all had statements on behalf of our countries because of the international situation. Now, of course, at that time, Russia had already, through proxies, conquered Crimea, and through proxies were engaged in occupying eastern Ukraine. But the invasion that occurred had not happened while I was United States ambassador. That happened a year after I left.
Yes, Mr. Ambassador, I wanted to get that time frame. You were posted to Vienna from roughly when to when?
About 1999 to 2000 I'm sorry, you caught me here. 19 to 21, 2019 to 2021.
All right. Well, that time frame helps when you're talking about what was happening when you were there, as opposed to events that have since unfolded in
That's correct. And the Russian invasion occurred a year later. Now, in the interim, after I returned, I was invited to go on with an organization in Washington, invited me to lead a delegation to Ukraine. And I went from there back to Kyiv and had an opportunity to talk with virtually the entire government, one-on-one in the different departments. And then we took a train down to Mariupol, which is on the Sea of Azov, and visited that area down there. I might point out, by the way, that since the Russian real invasion that took place in 22, that all of that area is now occupied by Russia, and even most of it was destroyed by the invasion.
Well, glad you got there while you could, certainly out of that. The organization, the OSCE, is, of course, still in existence and is still an ongoing entity.
It absolutely is. The president withdrew all the Republicans worldwide, of course, when he became president. So that's why I came home. But he's appointed his own ambassador there to OSCE, and I cooperate and support that activity as long as I can support the Biden foreign policy, which is not always. But there's obviously been a shift of administration between Biden and Trump. But yes, the organization is still going on there. Every week while I was there, I met with a routine group of people. I always met every week in person with what is called the Quad, the British, the French, the Germans, and the Americans. We always met one-on-one or face-to-face, the four of us. Then I also met every week with the Ukrainian ambassador, the Turkish ambassador, the Romanian ambassador, the members of the European Union, and a number of the other countries directly. to once again learn about their point of view and to teach them about what the United States' position was going to be. I might point out, by the way, that the Trump administration never asked me to pull back from Russia. My position there was one of great strength and pushback on the Russians and warning them about their more imperialistic ambitions. But we were taking a very strong foreign policy at that time under President Trump, and that never deviated.
Well, Ambassador Gilmore, in these brief few minutes, you have added a lot of information that I'm struck by the fact that you said you had not even heard about the OSCE until you were offered the position. So certainly many citizens of this country may still not know much of anything about it, but you've helped a great deal with that. Thank you so much, and it's much appreciated.
Thank you very much, Sam.